I don't really know what there wouldn't have been to love about Dad. He was fun. He was funny. He was really intelligent, so it was always interesting to have conversations about anything that was going on. And I'm thinking back to like some of the lessons that I learned from him throughout life, but the value of hard work, honest effort. And then I think one of my favorite things probably about Dad was his inclusion of everybody. I remember when I majored in music education and he was a band director, and so got to go to like some music conventions with him, and he knew everybody. As I look back and I learned more, I was like, everybody wanted to know him, and he really did know everybody, and he would welcome everybody, and they loved him. I think that's probably the biggest thing I learned from him.
He was a popular guy to so many, but at the same time, he was just Dad, and he never sacrificed his being involved in so many things like state level and the demands of being leading the marching Dutch with sacrificing time for our family either.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he never missed a single event of ours.
I don't know how.
I think about his schedule, and he was just always present. You talked about his intelligence, just the best advice giver without being pushy, without being, just that place of comfort, I think is what I miss about him most, is just coming to him with anything, that piece of comfort of not like you feel like you're going to be judged, but just he's there with a listening ear, gave the best hugs, and he took every opportunity to tell me he was proud of me directly and then just through his actions. And then watching him become a grandpa and just his intentionality with all of his grandkids the same way, so interested in everything, every stage of what they were doing next, and each grandkid kind of had their special thing with Grandpa Guy.
Yeah, he did have like a one-on-one relationship with all of them.
Yeah. Like with Matthias, it was checkers. With Ethan, it was the silly pointing thing back and forth. He just had a way, like you said, of making everybody feel super special and super valued. So just always feeling like he was just that safe place that always made me feel so special and that I was cherished. That high school music and drama staff just had so much fun over the years. And looking back at
Mr. Craishman, Mr. Redmond,
the silly pictures, but that collaboration, whether it was with community members or with his other directors or other people in school, they just had such a fun staff. He loved going to work for all those years. Like, think of how much he did at our church through all the years. He was, president of our church board. He played the keyboard for I don't know how many years. The music world, but also, his faith community was super important. For years, they'd gone down to Florida over like March, the month of March, and so the last week of February, he'd had a little back pain. I remember he said, "Yeah, I have a little back pain, but we're still gonna go. I think I'll do some physical therapy when I get back." So threw in the golf clubs in the back of their car, and he drove the whole way to Florida. The pain just got worse.
Yeah.
And then his legs kind of collapsed, and so my mom called the ambulance, and they took him to the hospital and ran a bunch of tests and found cancer lesions on his adrenal glands and throughout his brain, and we didn't really have any idea of what that meant. Yeah, we just said, he seemed perfectly, besides the back pain before he left, he seemed fine. So then transferred hospitals to Gainesville, University of Florida. He just quickly deteriorated. The pain became excruciating.
But he was walking when he went in, and he was bedridden within a couple of days of being there.
Before they could even find out what official type of cancer it was, they ran another series of tests, and it had quickly spread through his bones. And so at that point, we knew that probably treatment was not an option. And so then we kind of switched to comfort care and what we can do to make his last days the best that they could be. I think it was so important to get Dad back to Pella just because we knew that that's what he would have wanted, or that's what he did want.
That's what he wanted.
And so, he was always so close with his sister Jane. And so we knew it was really important for her to get to spend some time with him in his last days. He, absolutely loved this community, and so we just knew that's where he'd want to be.
I think you and Uncle Neil did the research and found the company.
Angel Med Flight.
And
they could come the next day, and
they could take Mom and Dad in the same plane with medical care on board. The company arranged to pick him up bedside in Florida, fly him to Iowa, and get him to the hospice house. Like, it was literally bedside to bedside travel that they provided with very, very nice people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we sent Dad on the plane with Mom. We took off early that morning to drive back. But I think that first initial phone call I made with the Comfort House was just like, finally somebody cares.
Yeah.
Like, he's not just a number. And even through the phone, you could tell the person I was talking to just showed compassion and that he would be cared for. And right away, they were able to get his pain managed. And he had been in excruciating pain. Josiah said his body seemed relaxed. He's comfortable.
He said Mom did too.
And Mom got some food, and she was visiting with a friend, and Aunt Jane was in there holding Dad's hand. And so when Josiah said that, it was just like he's home.
It's where it was supposed to be.
Yep. It's where he was definitely supposed to be. To say thank you to the people of hospice is, seems so contrite to what he was able to experience there and what it meant to our family and to Mom and Dad. But now every time I drive by, and I literally lift up a prayer of thanks for the people there and what they do in the ministry they serve.